Wir sind live.
Hey,
Hey.
wir sind live. Happy Thursday, dear world. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our bi-weekly get-together is taking place, so I hope you have your coffee ready or some water or anything else that you are enjoying in your lunch break, because we are ready to start and look back at the social media posts from previous weeks. The topic of this week that we have is candidate journey. So everything around application, contracts will be something we will be discussing today. We will talk about emotions as well. So for those ones who are not that good with emotions, there will be something interesting for you, maybe something new to find out. But other than that, hey team, sunny greetings from
Hi.
Frankfurt. It's so nice to see you all today. And yeah,
You too,
thank you.
Liana. Greetings from Latvia. Greetings from everywhere. It's always
Sunny
nice to
weather
see
in
you
Latvia
guys.
too?
Sadly, no. Not
Sadly, no.
today.
Sending you some sun. Nice. Ersin, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. The
Nice.
sun is
I'm
shining
happy to hear that.
and the weather is nice. So, okay.
Good. We're ready, right? So just
Let's
as
go.
always, we're going to go through two posts from Maya and two of mine posts and just discuss what was the discussion around it. Maybe the post gained a lot of impressions or a lot of comments or a lot of likes, and we will give some behind the scenes of why we wrote the post, why we think it's interesting, what triggered us, because there was always a story behind every post that we write. So yeah, let's start with the one from Maya, I guess, right? What is that you
Yeah.
were thinking while writing this post, and what is it all about?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, this is a big part of everyone's life, getting your contract. I mean, this is a beautiful day. This is always a nice moment to have. I remember that almost every time when I got my contract, I did a little dance at home with my contract. Like, I was so happy. So this is a very happy and yeah, I mean, noteworthy moment of everyone's life. So, yeah, I mean, signing a contract is a big deal and definitely something to be cautious about as well, because I mean, contract is binding to you, and definitely everything that is in there should be taken care of in the right way. So, yeah, definitely. When you do get a contract, I was very curious also to see on the internet when I Googled some of the times that people have waited for. How long will they even get to wait until they get a contract? And by the way, I would love to hear your guys's situation. What's the longest you have ever waited for a contract?
Personally, I just maybe a few days. But
Oh,
I do
nice.
know that speaking from Smartist experience, when it comes to candidates, we unfortunately have had situations where someone needs to wait for a contract a little longer. And here we speak about a week and a half maybe. But I think as long as all the reasons behind the wait are explained, it's much easier to understand it. I mean, in the current market that we are having, where candidates literally have multiple job offers, like the first one coming with the contract and good benefits and a good salary will be the one getting the candidate. So I know that for our clients, very often they do have work council, which is a good thing. It's kind of a community of people internally within an organization, kind of standing for employee rights. So every person coming on board needs to be approved from the work council. And because they meet up once a week or maybe once in 2 weeks, it might take a little longer until the approval takes place and then you receive the contract afterwards. But I think as long as you put it out there and the other person knows, okay, everything is fine, we just now need to go through an internal process, it's all fine. But yeah, I like how you said about the dance when you receive a contract. I have done that
Yeah.
myself. I look back
Yeah.
at it, yeah, and then got something nice to drink and and
Yeah,
toasted for the new job. So yeah, it is a nice
definitely.
thing, right?
Yeah, it's a thing to celebrate, definitely.
Indeed.
Ersin,
Yeah.
do you have had like a curious long periods of time where you had to wait for your contract, or are you as lucky as Leon as well that you didn't really have to worry about it?
I would say I was lucky too. So
Nice.
there, as a candidate, of course, as a recruiter, and for my candidates, I think there was the longest time was last year with the
Mm-hmm.
client, and the candidate waited, I think, over 1.5 months. So that was
Wow.
a really, really special case, I would say. So that's
Yeah.
not a normal case, but especially there, it was like there was some missing missing things from the
Mm-hmm.
client side. They also had a Betriebsrat, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
always takes a bit longer. But
Yeah, sure.
luckily, she's happy there, and she started, waited, and everything is fine now. But yeah,
Nice.
that's.
That's the most important part. Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
it was 1.5 months exactly. Yeah.
Something around that
that's
now
long.
when you say, yeah, that's long. And it's actually surprising that the person was waiting. But I think, Ersin, you did a very good job keeping in touch, letting know why it takes so long. And I
Mm.
think that's what gave her
Mm-hmm.
such a good feeling that it will be fine. I just need to be patient here.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How
Yeah,
long
so
have you
there's
waited, Maya, yourself?
uh, not
The
not too
longest?
long. I don't think. Also, the longest is probably a week or so.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think my processes have always been quite quick. Maybe for the reason that in all the places where I started, they really, really needed someone, so they really didn't
Hmm.
take too much time to get the contract to me. But yeah, I was definitely also lucky as well, and I didn't have to wait for too long. But yeah, so this is just one side. How long are you waiting to get a contract? And there's also the other side. How long is the company waiting for you to sign your contract? That's also a big thing. So definitely, when you do get a contract, of course, there are some things to do, like carefully read it through, go over all the infos. But definitely, I would say, let's just say you just got your contract. You just had it in your arms. You did the little dance. So yeah, I mean, what should you do if there's something in your contract that you are not entirely happy with? You can definitely negotiate, would be my advice. So there are a lot of
Yeah.
things you can negotiate. You can negotiate your salary, your vacation days, a mobility package, or some other perks. Definitely do it in a polite and a professional way, and there is a chance that some of these points can be negotiated, because I mean, what's the worst that can happen, right? I mean, if you do not negotiate, if you do not ask, nothing changes anyway. So you can definitely do this. Be sure about what you want. If it's something within the reasonable bounds,
Mm.
definitely be sure to negotiate, would be my advice.
Very good advice. How
Yeah.
long do you think some candidate should take until they sign the contract and they have read through it?
In my opinion, it really shouldn't take, from the moment that they actually get the contract delivered to them, I don't think it
Mhm.
should really take longer than 24 hours. I
Mhm.
mean, sure, there are, of course, things that can happen. You have like a family gathering or something that you cannot put off. But if the contract is not like 100 pages long, then it really doesn't
Mhm.
take so much time to read it through, to see if everything's okay. I mean, of course, if there are some follow up questions, if there's something that's not entirely clear to you, then yeah,
Mhm.
sure. I mean, don't sign it right away, but definitely be sure to speak with the person that's responsible for the process. And my advice would be to call That would be the fastest way to figure out what the problem or what the follow-up question is, to clear that up as fast as possible, as soon as possible, so you can get to signing it. Of course, if the person doesn't answer, you can write an email or a message, but definitely always call. That's the way, that's something that recruitment taught me, that the fastest way to get things done, call.
Damn
Always
right.
call.
Yeah.
Damn right. How do you look at things like companies setting a deadline? Like, hey, here's your contract. You have 3 or 5 or I don't know how many days to read through and to sign. What do you think about something like that? Because I do know that from my perspective, I understand the client. It's good because they set a deadline. They're like, hey, we would like to hear until then if you want the job or no. So that's perfect. Of course, on the other side, I have also seen candidates who think like, oh, I have some time to go through it. You know, I have these 3 or 5 or whatever days. I'm not a big fan of that myself, because I'm also the way that you suggested. Read it 24 hours, sign it. It's good, right? But some people like to take the time because they think, oh, I have the time. What do you think about that?
In my opinion, this kind of a deadline is a good thing for both parties. I think for yourself as a candidate, at least you have some clarity. Okay, I have this much time, and then it's in your head. And the company as well, they have some time they can count on your answer within this deadline that they set. So I think it's a good thing. Unless the deadline is too long. I don't know, because sometimes if the deadline is too long, the client can risk losing a candidate because they are giving them too much time to sign the contract.
That's true. And from like client perspective and recruiting, like overall, a deadline is a good thing, you know. In the current job market where candidates have multiple offers, so you kind of set the record straight. We are here, we want you, but we want you until next Monday. If not, there is someone else who is coming in and is ready to take your place. And I think that's a very straightforward. Yeah. A good topic.
So sign your contract, guys.
Yes, as fast as possible. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Next one.
We will have Lena's post to see. Love Lena's post.
Oh my
feelings.
Oh my
There's the feelings.
I really like the picture of the feelings post. Like, really a big fan of Unsplash and their photos. So in case someone's wondering where did they come from, yeah, your post discussion was a very good introduction to the new job. You know, LinkedIn at the beginning of this year was full of people who just got a new job. So everyone was like, congrats, 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 congrats. So it was nice to see. And I know you talked about the happy side of it. You know, you do a little dance, you maybe talk with your family and friends and just share the joy that you have, that you will be starting a new chapter in your life. But on the other side, I would not say negative, but kind of the hard side is starting, right? Because you need to go also through a process where you have to say that you are leaving to your current employer. Also, your colleagues might not be that happy about you leaving. Some candidates do have some doubts. Is this the right time? Is this the right role? So this whole process is a mixture of feelings, happy and not so happy. So in this post, that's exactly what I talked about, that sometimes you may have a guilt because you're letting down your current employer. You might have doubts about making the right decision, or maybe you have a fear of moving to a new place, not only company, but also maybe you move like physically to a different city where you need to start like completely from zero. So this phase is a mix of things. And yeah, I was just questioning the connections, the public, the network. How do they think recruiters might be able to make this whole process with these not so positive emotions, like nicer, how we can help and overcome these things. So it was interesting to see that there were 6 comments, and one person, Christina, she was like, I never have these negative feelings, so I'm always super happy and a new start and so on.
Good for her.
I like to see it that way, because I mean, at the end of the day, we're making the step for ourselves, right? It's not for anyone else. But yeah, that was interesting to see. And then there was someone from HR perspective giving a comment and saying, hey, as recruiters, as HR, we're there for you. Talk to us. We will help you to overcome these feelings because we're in this together. So I like that kind of a company is saying, you're going to join us. We're happy to help you with this not so negative, so maybe a little negative process that you need to go through. And it was nice to see, because
definitely.
that was interesting. And yeah, it got over 27 likes, over 3,000 impressions. So I was super happy to see that it resonated, some action, some discussion between the network. But how do you see it? Are you the same as Christina, saying like, oh, this is a happy period, the rest will work out? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, it can be. It's an interesting topic. I think it really depends from person to person. I think it's very individual thing. I am a very emotional person, so I imagine for me it would be the same. But yeah, I mean, I have experienced all kinds of feelings and all kinds of stages in getting the job, having the job, leaving the job. So I think every kind of a feeling is definitely every feeling has a grounds to be there, depending on the person and what his experience has been. I think I am quite lucky enough, even if I have experienced some negative feelings in this area. I don't know, I get inside my head for a while. I figure out what's the thing that was bothering me or what happened, and then I somehow try to get over it as fast as possible. That's my that's my process.
I like that.
How it is with you, Edison?
I don't know. I think if you receive an offer or a contract and the next step is signing, and after this things are set in stone, so the next step is to handle in your notice, and I think that is always a weird feeling, because you have to say somebody, I'm leaving you, and I think it's also, it doesn't matter if it could matter, but it's similar to leaving somebody in a relationship, in a personal relationship, and that's not a nice talk, but you have to do it. So I think there are many not so nice feelings in this in this stage,
in the process. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, we are here. At least 3 of the smartest in one room are here for you in case you are going through such a time and need some help with resignation, I don't know, with a template, or just want to talk through this process with us. We are here for you. So here I have 3 tips on how to resign the best from your company, to have a good feeling and to do it in the right way. So first of all, I would suggest to not leave it to the last minute, because usually our resignation is a month or 3 months to the end of the month. So make sure you do it sometime in advance, because other than that, yeah, some things might happen. Something can come in between. Someone can be off sick. So don't leave it to the last minute. Resign at least 5 days before the deadline. Whom you should hand in the resignation. It can be someone from the management, so managing director. It can be an HR manager, can be your direct manager, so someone more superior to you. And yeah, this is not a Netflix subscription that you can just resign by sending an email. Resignation needs to be handed in writing. So make sure it's written, it's signed by you. It includes your address, company address, and a little text mentioning the dates when you will be leaving. And of course, saying little thanks for the time that you spent there. In case you need some templates or suggestions on how to do it, feel free to reach out to us or use your good friend Google. But I think there are a lot of templates out there that will give you a good feeling and show you different ways of how you can resign. So yeah, that's a few suggestions from my side.
Nice. Very cool. Right. I don't plan on giving any resignation anytime soon, so I will be needing these tips.
Please. All right,
yeah,
so
great tips.
All right, so let's move on to the next post, right? I guess that is from Maya.
That is
you right
post.
there.
Yeah, so again, so a candidate's journey. We are really traveling through all kinds of stages right now, and we are here in the stage of waiting for feedback. So this is also something that almost each of us has gone through. We do go to interviews, we pour our hearts and souls and motivation speeches all around different kinds of companies, and we do our part. And after the interview is done, normally there is nothing left to do but to wait for your feedback. Similarly, like I asked in the first post of mine, how long have you guys waited for a feedback? Is there some maybe situation or time when there was unusual long waiting period for your feedback? Or have you again guys been lucky and have gotten your feedback the next or the day after?
As a candidate,
I think I'm still waiting for some feedback from times where I applied for my first job. So yeah, I think yes.
Nice. Okay, that tops everything. Liana, you can maybe say a week or two. I will not be as shocked as Ersin, who is still waiting for his feedback.
No, but it's so funny because I have received also a rejection email from a company that applied for really 3 years ago, like that was for the first job when I started out. And then it's so weird because you are in a job, you got it. So you started working somewhere, and then I don't know, 6 months, a year passes, and you suddenly receive a rejection email, and you're like, this is so random. Like, what's going on with this company? So
better late than never.
Better late than never. I think that's really their motto. But yeah, it's so weird. Like personally, I think that has been the longest that I have waited for on feedback. But other than that, when it comes to the clients and candidates, I'm also a fan of quick processes. So I suggest, just like you said, signing the contract in 24 hours. Same applies here. The first feedback, yes or no, comes within 24 hours. Of course, it can take a little longer. And to give you candidates or job seekers an idea why it might take a little longer, it's usually because the person is on holiday or they are off sick and there is no one jumping in for their duties. So basically everything is just left on the table and we need to wait. It can be that internally someone has applied for the role and it's a company's policy to go with internal applications beforehand before they actually start receiving applicants or giving feedback on the external applicants. So these can be the reasons why it takes a little longer and you need to wait. But other than that, I think the recruiters are always on top of the game, working in your interest that you receive the feedback as quickly as possible.
At least we try to.
At least we try to, yeah. And I think it's very important from candidates as well, in case like this opportunity that you are waiting on a feedback for is the one that you really want, but some other processes are coming your way already, let us know. Like, just give us a call and say, hey, I really want this job. Can you do something to make the process a bit quicker? Because other interviews that I have, they're nice, they're great, but you are my top one choice. So that's also something that you can definitely communicate.
Great tips. Great tips, because definitely there are always reasons for why is the feedback not coming as fast as you would like it to be. It's almost never the reason you think. Like, they have the feedback, but they are taking their time to get it to me. I mean, there's definitely always a reason for it. But in this area, I definitely have some tips for you while you are waiting for feedback. So what should you do, or what can you do while you're waiting for a feedback? Definitely, let's just say you just had your interview, you just poured your heart and soul out, your motivation speech is out there, you have just had this nice conversation with your HR person or recruiter or someone internally in the company, and then you come home, you sit down and wait. Ideally, in this interview, you will already have received some kind of infos about how long should you or will you have to wait to get a feedback. And although this is a nice info to have, if some 1 or 2 days passes and you still don't have a feedback, call, write, let us or let the company know that you are waiting for a feedback. Ask directly and politely, like, hey, I just had an interview with you guys 3 or 4 days ago. I was interested in how does the process look like, if you have any feedback for me. What this does is 2 things. First of all, it shows your motivation. It shows your determination and that you are really wanting this position. This is a really, really great thing for you as a candidate. And second, it gives you information. So, of course, even if they don't have any big or huge information to give you, at least you have put yourself out there, you have shown the interest, and keep on doing it. If they don't have the feedback for you in 2 or 3 days, call again a day or 2 later. Like, there's really nothing that can play against you here. So definitely my advice would be to, while you're waiting for feedback, don't be afraid to call, to ask for feedback or for some information. This will never play against you. It will only be in your benefit.
100%, 100%. Amazing tips, Maya. Really, be active. Yeah. I remember this week, I believe I wrote a post about also like feedback and reaching out and stuff. And one person from the network wrote a comment saying like, yeah, but is this actually a polite tone to reach out and ask for it? Because they thought that it's not a nice way how to remind about yourself. And then myself and there was other colleague from HR, they were like, no, it's absolutely the opposite, you know, it's something positive. You remind about yourself, you show interest in the process within the like in the company. A very, very positive thing, really. I know it might take some courage to actually give a call, because that's a little extra, you know. I know some people don't like being on the phone, but at least sending an email is the smallest thing you can do, and it's not going to harm anything. So don't worry about that. Yeah, because in recruitment, actually, we say the best candidate is the most committed one, right? And the one who shows up and reminds about themselves, like, it gives us a signal, hey, they really want this. And I mean, companies really want to hire motivated candidates, right? So this is your way on how to show the motivation. I actually have one situation earlier when we started out with Smartist. I was writing a lot of content about that. And one guy in Latvia, he is the head of sales for a very big e-commerce company. And he wrote me a message saying like, Lene, I read your post. Thank you so much for encouraging me to reach out, because that's exactly what I did. And at the end of the day, the HR managers told him that he got the job just because of the fact that he was getting a call, reaching out, and he was like, Lena, thanks to you, I'm here today. And it's so nice to see this person being out there now on social media, being in the TV, giving speeches. So yeah, it's the small things that make a huge difference at the end of the day. So
yeah, definitely. Nice. That's so nice to hear. That's such an amazing story from a candidate. I mean, and that's
Mhm.
you wouldn't ever think, right? You would always think like, I made it here because of my great interview skills or whatever I said in the interview. But no, you got the job just because you checked in after it. So yeah, that
Mhm.
just shows sometimes it really is about the little things.
That's true. Yeah. So cool. Thinking back at
Cool.
that situation and that message. Oh, that's the reason, I guess, why we do this job, right, guys?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, last one.
Yeah. Last one. Yeah. What do we have there? What did I write about? Oh, I made a poll actually,
Oh.
because time is money, right? And we don't have both. A German saying goes. So it was about arranging a job interview. Because you are in a job process, you sent the application, waiting on a feedback, got a positive feedback, and there we are. We need to arrange a suitable appointment on a very short notice, usually for the first interview. So I was asking my connections of like what would they prefer for arranging a job interview? A phone call, an email, a Calendly, or an other tool, or something else. So I was just curious to hear their ideas because I
Email
know
one.
what it's like. Email one. Yeah, like email actually won here. And yeah, the second place is taken by Calendly. So these scheduling tools, which are very cool. I mean, save some hustle, I would say. And the good old phone call landed on the third spot. So
I
yeah,
think that's
I don't know.
interesting because we as a recruiter, we love the phone call. We want it now. We want it directly, straight away. I want to book in this interview, but our candidates don't like the this call. So
That's
that's an
interesting.
interesting fact.
Mm.
So
Absolutely.
we should be more patient and write an email and wait till we get the answer. That's
Mm.
what
Or
we should have
maybe the
learned.
partakers of this poll were mostly introverts. Maybe
Could be, but
Good
185
question.
voices
votes. Yeah, that's a lot.
Mm, yeah.
could be. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a bit biased here because I mean, we like the phone call, it's the quickest and straightest way how to organize anything in your life, literally. On the other side, email is good as well. I mean, that's the way how we communicate these days, right? A message on LinkedIn, I don't know, message on Instagram, an email, like all kind of equal. But
Mm.
from a recruitment perspective, email or these messages, they are the ones that take the longest time until we get an answer, right? And
Yeah.
in case something is not fitting, we need to rearrange again, which takes then again some time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we were talking about time, how long, and deadlines. It can actually take up to, I don't know, 2 or 3 days at the end of the day to organize this appointment, which is time just wasted. We could have
Wasted.
done the
Yeah.
first interview and had the feedback
Mm-hmm.
already. So that's why nevertheless, we have email
Mhm.
automation, everything in place. I will still go with a phone call. And yeah, there was no huge discussion under this post, really. I know a colleague of ours, a career coach, she suggested Calendly. Says it saves a lot of time when it comes to emails going back and forth. Also, someone from IT said email with a calendar meeting invite. That is why it's confirmed and locked and it's fine. No, yeah. But before that email, I give a phone call, right?
Yeah.
And set it straight. But yeah, so I do have some suggestions on how to make it quicker so that both sides are happy. The candidate is happy that we're not disturbing them, and that we are happy as a recruiters, hiring managers, that we arrange the process very quickly. So if you are currently job searching, if you are thinking of changing jobs, when you speak with the hiring manager, recruiter or when you send out your application, make sure you already mention 3 time slots. Just give 3 time slots that you are available for interviews in the upcoming days or a week. And in that way, you block already in your calendar a few times where you would be available for an interview. Saves a lot of emails here and there. And on the other side, it's very straightforward. If you are invited for an interview, they will choose one of the time slots and send you an email invitation. And in that way, it's organized super quickly. Both sides know where they are standing, and it's done and dusted. I think it's the best way how to go about it.
Yeah.
Would you add something there, guys?
I would add my support. And I definitely think that's a very great idea. I mean, yeah, I mean, I imagine if I would I would be seeking for a job right now and a recruiter would call me and offer me this position that I would be very interested in. Definitely, the idea of me already giving, like saying, yeah, like this week I'm always available after like 2 o'clock. Great, then they don't have to wonder, or I know that it saves me an email to answer or a call. Like it's definitely a very cool thing to do. Yeah, I mean, if you have the info, give it straight up to the recruiter or HR person. Tell them already that you have those and those times free, and it saves everybody the time and it makes things much more smoother, like all the processes that can be followed up after that.
Yes.
100%. Great idea.
Oh man. Yeah. Time flies when we get together and speak about recruitment and candidate journey this time. So it was a lot of fun. Let us know, guys, if you found it useful, if you would like to hear something else, or maybe we should go more behind the scenes, please do let us know. We're very open when it comes to optimizing the format that we are sharing with you. All the videos are also afterwards to be seen on our YouTube channel and also on LinkedIn. In case you were busy this lunchtime and would like to have us in front of you when you are having your dinner. So yeah, the next time we get together is again in 2 weeks on Thursday at 12 o'clock. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all then. And let's see what the topics are then for that day. We will announce them very shortly. So yeah,
definitely.
Greetings
Thank you guys for joining.
Everyone out there.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful
good
day.
afternoon. Yes.